small or medium businesses, particularly who are growing really fast, are scaling up, of course, are looking positive. They know they're scaling faster. In 2 years' time, will be in some other place altogether. Where can people start? Where can engineering teams or essentially these teams start in terms of security? Like, is it automation? Is it the people side they should be focusing on in terms of starting off and putting the right systems in place? What do you think would be maybe a couple of things that they should start off with?
I'll give you an answer which is rooted in reality, and I'll give you my opinion. What happens in reality is, if you're a small team and somehow you've managed to hit a place where you think you can reach product market fit, that's the only time you'll get busy, right? Then there is no time wasting on anything. Great architecture, secrets management, security, none of that matters, right? Because not doing that velocity is an existential threat to a small team, right? The only time these teams will want to worry about security, or they even pause to think about security, is because suddenly at some point there's a customer that they have been chasing who's agreed to work with them, and that customer comes back and says, hey, here is my security questionnaire, please fill this up, explain to me all your access control policies, your application security, VAPT policies, and get back to me, right? Then they fill it up from a point of view that they have to fill it up, right? And I have seen this. I have worked with enough founders to know that that's the only time they do it. And it makes sense, because if there is no business, there is no security. There is no need for security, right? Yeah. This is how it actually happens. Only when they hit a certain amount of, I would say, revenue, and in American terms, in terms of funding, usually it's like at Series A. When they have raised the Series A round, you raise a Series A when you have proven that you have usage of the product or the service, you have some revenue from real customers, and you have not many, but at least a few number of deals in place, right? So consider a simple metric like you have $1 million annual revenue, you have at least 10 to 15 customers, and you are raising the money to now prove this new hypothesis, that you can acquire more customers if you could just spend more money on marketing and sales. That is when you are now going after customers who will give you more money annually, and they will send you this questionnaire, right? That is when you hire your first security person. Even at this time, your fundamental thing is, can I get a scan done from an online thing, which will give me a report for like $50 or $60, so that I can prove I'm this thing. That's where companies like Hardinize and all have amazing websites. All it does is an SSL check, your email domain check, and that report, if you give with a nice A+ sign, people may or may not accept, right? That's security theater. And usually that's how it operates. Unless and until you're in a regulated industry, you are doing for healthcare or something where you have to be HIPAA compliant, then your cost of delivering the service includes that, right? You'll go on a different path. But most SaaS operates like this. What people should do instead, they will not, because this is like flossing, right? Every time you go to your dentist, they'll be like, yeah, brush twice a day and at night floss. And you're like, yes, we'll floss, but flossing is so boring. It is such a hard job that most people will not do it. At least I don't do it. I compensate by using an electric toothbrush, right? But
thanks for that tip.
Yeah, it's automation, right? It works really well. What people could be doing is solve their cloud infra first. Simply because they've already given away their infra management headache to a cloud provider. That the server will not go down, the disk will not fail, things like that, right? That's that's what you get out of going to a public cloud or something. If your cloud infra is secure for the bare minimum, like you will not allow a public open S3 bucket, then your developer cannot write code to read from that without using signed URLs. So without actually saying it, you got them to agree to a coding standard. You may not have it documented, right? If you say that I will only allow, in the case of AWS, that an IAM role to talk to the server, And in that role, you allow access to a database, the RDS or whatever it is, the S3 bucket or something. Then you've already established a policy as code culture. So if you solve for cloud infra, and when you have only 1 or 2 servers, it's easy, right? You can just continue in that. And when new people join, they're like, oh, this is the culture, I have to learn this.
Yeah.
They will not question it, right? Then you can easily solve for application security. And if you can actually take away the application security configuration bugs, you can focus on the ones that really matter, the business logic issues and all that. You may or may not solve them, it's immaterial, but that's not going to completely delete your cloud. But an infra bug exposed because of an application security issue, like an SSRF or something, and because you were using IAM admin, you can get ransomware very badly, or someone could just like delete everything.
Yeah.
Those are existential threats. So solve for cloud infra, then pick up application security. And then third, you take care of access control when you start thinking of the roles that your team has. Because some customer is going to ask, does everyone get access to production database? Then you want to kind of say that, no, the fresher who just started today doesn't get access. Only the senior team gets, right? That's where the RBAC will come in. But if you follow it like that, in the future, you will have a much easier time. But the reality, nobody will follow, right? Because that's not something they're thinking about.
Yeah, but I think thanks for that answer. I think a lot of us who are in control of these security teams or are advising these companies can definitely follow this. I see this as being able to manage the attack surface much better without making too much noise as security, and then, keep calm and do security type of thing.